Hello, webinar audience. Welcome to our webinar on 4 effective strategies for Facebook lead ads, hosted by Adspresso and Hannafin Marketing. Your hosts, I have myself, Chad Powell. I'm an account analyst at Hannafin Marketing, specifically focusing on Facebook. I also write for our in-house blog, PPC Hero. And with me, I have Massimo, who will also give his own introduction.
Hello everyone, I'm Massimo and I'm the CEO of Adespresso, and I take care of all our content and playing with the numbers of Facebook advertising.
So you can join the conversation with us by including the hashtag ThinkPPC in your Twitter tweets, or you can use the webinar question box to submit questions to us. You can do that throughout the webinar as we progress through the slides and discuss all different things about lead gen ads. Feel free to submit your questions, and we will have a Q&A at the end of the presentation. We're getting ready to launch a live poll question, just asking about how long you've been in PPC. So please take the time to answer that, and it will give us an idea of kind of the audience that we have and how long you've been doing PPC.
Let's see if we have a lot of new buys or if we are all expert. How long have you been doing PPC, Chad?
I've been at Hannafin since, let's see, January 2014, so about 2.5 years. I've been doing Facebook specifically for about a year.
Very nice. Yeah, I got started with PPC. I've never done a lot of Google AdWords. I have to admit I kind of sucks at Google AdWords. But in Facebook advertising, I started back in 2011, I think, as soon as it got available back in Italy. I was working out of Italy back then.
Gotcha. Yes, yeah. I started out in AdWords for the first year, or actually 1.5 years, and then moved on to doing Facebook. So it was actually the difference of trying to get used to social after being in search for so long.
It's nice to switch every once in a while. So we have the results out, and you can see it there. We have a mixed bag: 33% less than a year, 33 1 to 3 years, and then another 33 between more than 3 years. So awesome. We have a bit of everything.
Absolutely. It's a good cross section. All right, so we'll go ahead and get into the main topic. Is Facebook lead ads. So what are they? Why should you start using them right now, and how can they help you in your Facebook advertising, help you with your business needs, and any other reason you might be using Facebook advertising? So what are they? Well, you can see a great example here that was provided to us by Adspresso. Thank you very much. But you can see here it looks just like a regular ad. So if you've ran single image ads, the 1200 by 628 ad with the image and things of that nature, this looks really familiar. And people who see it on Facebook will recognize it. The difference is when you click, it's a much different ad from that point forward. So once you do that, there's no landing page, right? So a lead ad doesn't send you off to an external site. Facebook has advertising that does that, and that's what a lot of people are used to. But lead ads are different. They allow you to collect information right in the interface, right in Facebook. What's the idea behind that? Well, the less actions that somebody has to take, the more likely they are to submit information. And so the thinking is they can submit it right in Facebook. They don't have to leave. They can submit their email to you or whatever information you need, and then they can go back to their surfing habits. And so that's why it can be a really, really useful form, and it's pre-filled. So Facebook has really done as much as they can to try to keep the friction to completing it as low as possible. And when they brought this out, they called it, I think the buzz line was tap, tap, done. And the idea there, was trying to be, it's a catchy phrase, but the idea is that it's very quick. All right. So from the last screen, we see you submit your email. It was all pre-populated, and then here you go. You've got your lead has been submitted. You can get a downloaded ebook in a very short amount of time with this particular ad. You didn't leave Facebook. You didn't even have to type anything. And so this is an example of like a really quick and easy lead gen ad. If your goal is to get emails and provide, say, an ebook or a coupon or type of thing, it gives you like a really, really quick way to reach out to people without having to send them to your site and deal with site issues and maybe your site's being down or is down or something to that effect. And then, so great, we know what lead ads are in a general sense. We know that they're super easy. They're about reducing friction for users, about helping you get the leads that you need as quickly as possible. But Massimo can describe, oh, sorry, 1 second. So you can do lead gen ads. You know, it's about getting sales. There's things that you can do if you have the Facebook Pixel installed that will help you do more with your lead gen ads when it comes to remarketing and things like that, which we'll talk about a little later. You can also integrate them with CRM software, Salesforce being one of the biggest ones, but there's other providers. So your leads can funnel quickly into your CRM software and help you out in that regard. But why do we need lead gen ads? What's the biggest thing that they can do for us? And Massimo has the answer.
Sure. So this is the question that I got asked more often. People just tell me, hey, I'm advertising because I want to sell my product. I don't give a damn about those leads. I don't want emails, etc. By the way, guys, sorry, I'm Italian, so sometimes I misswear, but you're all older than 18 years old. So the main thing that you have to understand when you start advertising on Facebook is that people don't go on Facebook to make decisions. People go on Facebook to avoid making decisions, to enjoy, to watch their friends, what their friends are doing, etc. So most of the time, trying to sell something directly doesn't work. You first have to engage with the user. You have to build trust, credibility, etc. And providing something valuable, asking something very little like the email is a great first step. Then there are more things that you should consider. The first one is what I just said, but of course, when you provide something like an ebook or a coupon, etc., you are starting to build trust. You are positioning yourself as an expert in your field. Next, email. You are gathering emails, and that's awesome because you are building a list. And from now on, you can build a relationship. You can mail those users with updates, with new products, with other useful information. This is a core asset of your business. If tomorrow you won't have the money to keep advertising your product, the advertising won't generate you any more sales. But your list will, because you have built an audience of people that you can reach at any time and in the cheapest way possible, just sending an email. And finally, in the example that we saw, we were asking for the name and the email. But remember, there's much more to lead ads. When you're building a lead ads, you can create your own form. You can ask any kind of question that you want. So for Adespresso, I may ask, are you already advertising on Facebook? How much money you are managing on a monthly basis? And even most important, you can also ask for phone numbers. So lead ads are great also for small, medium businesses, brick and mortar store that probably don't even have a website. For dentists, doctors, you can get phone numbers and then provide your service over the phone. So before we check our 4 main strategies to be successful with lead generation ads, let's also see the pros and cons of lead generation ads, because of course they are not perfect. They have a lot of great things, but also some smaller issues. The biggest point of lead ads is that they are simple. You don't need to subscribe to another service to design your own landing page. You don't need a designer to design it. You don't need to overthink what you need in the copy of your landing page, etc. You just build the form inside the Ads Manager. I can guarantee you it will take you like 3 minutes and you are good to go. The other big pro is mobile. Mobile is huge on Facebook. More than 70 or 80% of their revenues are coming from mobile advertising. You can no longer ignore mobile. And that's exactly why Facebook launched lead ads. Facebook noticed something, that lead generation was not working on mobile. Because when I'm on the go, I don't want to fill out a very long form. And probably I also have a worse internet connection. And probably your website is not really optimized for mobile. So that resulted in an extremely crappy user experience. I will click the ad, wait 15 seconds for your landing page to load, and then probably it's not responsive, so I don't see anything. And then I have to type in all this information. Lead ads were meant for mobile. They make lead generation on mobile extremely better. There are also some cons about lead ads. The first one is that you don't have a lot of space. So you just have a form. You can create a context card to add some more text and context before the lead. But if you are selling, if you are promoting something that may be not so intuitive, you need to do a lot of explanation, or maybe you are addressing, I don't know, health issues where people may have bigger privacy concern. You cannot add too many information. While on your standard landing page, you may add 100 testimonials of excited customers. You may explain more in depth your offer. So if you have a complex offer or something that requires a lot of explanation, lead ads may be not the ideal solution. And finally, this is not always true, but depending on the audience that you are targeting, you may have a lower quality of the data. Facebook is going to pre-fill all the information that they can, and then of course you can also ask open questions, but you are going to get the email that the user used to subscribe to Facebook, which on one side is good because you don't log into Facebook with a fake email, because you are going to be locked out of Facebook forever if you have to reset the password. So you are pretty sure that it's a quality email and that it's an actual email. But if you are a B2B company and you would rather have the business email of your users rather than their personal email, that may be a problem, because very likely you are going to get more personal emails. All right, so it's time to get started with our fourth strategy. Chad.
Hello. Yep. So one of the first things to do is to, when you're trying to entice somebody to click on your lead ad and fill it out and submit their information, the one thing you want to do is pick the right offer. You want to attract those quality leads, and you want to make sure that you have something that they're going to want, and make them want to give you their email. So you can't just be like, hey, we have this really great thing. You should totally find out about it and give us your email, right? There's usually some sort of value transaction. And so lead magnets are really important. And there's a ton of different ones that you can do. You can see them here. Ebooks, webinars, checklists, giveaways, courses, free consultations. You see a whole list here. Sometimes it's a free trial, 1 month, 3 month, 2 month, whatever type of thing that you can offer. But there's usually some type of value that you want to provide. That's going to make somebody stop and want to give you their information, because they're getting something and they're interested in later what you would have to offer. So it's always really, really critical to consider that. I've seen lead ads where people have created lead ads and they have a really interesting product, but they're not really offering something initially to somebody to get them to want to submit information and follow up. And so their ad just sort of gets skipped over, or people aren't filling it out. Well, they'll be like, well, people aren't really, they're filling out part of it, they're not filling out the rest. They're like, what's going on? And a lot of times it comes back to testing their lead magnets and trying to figure out what it is they need to offer that's going to make somebody interested in their product. So along with that, what are some things to think about when we think about lead magnets, and what should we do? Well, one is, if you're like me, I don't like to wait around. And I like to, if I'm looking at something that's interesting and I want to know about it, or I want to get that ebook or that webinar invite, or I want to get a consultation, or whatever the thing is that I think could be potentially interesting. For instance, for me is I like getting access to learning, so email courses or getting logins to a site where I can kind of learn on my own different types of things, like programming and things of that nature. And so I've submitted my my email and waiting for them to let me into the system and to sort of sample what they want. And so the key is that the lead magnet needs to be quick. It needs to be immediate gratification. What you don't want is for your lead magnet to take so long to happen that people aren't willing to wait around, and they forget about you, or they regret submitting their email, and things of that nature. The other key thing here with Massimo can address is addressing a specific niche.
Yes, this is super important. A lot of time with small medium businesses, if you ask them, hey, who's your audience? They will reply, everyone. There is nothing more wrong because in lead generation, there is no one size fits all. The more you are generic, the less you are interesting. People want a clear solution to their specific problem. I've tried this in every way, and being specific, providing a lead magnet which address a specific problem of a specific niche, it's always much better. So let's give an example. Recipes. There are hundreds of recipes around the internet. I can just Google and find a recipe for everyone. So if I wanted to gather emails for my recipe website, I could do an ebook like 100 recipes for everyone. And we have our fake cover in the next step, in the next slide, Chad. All right, so here's my ebook, 100 recipes for everyone. Now just think that you are on Facebook, think that you see an ad, hey, do you like cooking? Download our ebook with 100 recipes. I don't think you are going to download this ebook. There is nothing appealing, it's not solving your problem, whatever your problem is, but this is too generic. What's the value in 100 recipes when I can just open Google and find everything? On the other side, I may want to specialize, I'm in San Francisco, so I may want to specialize my website on tech people, on geek. And if I produce a more specific ebook, and probably I'm using just a subset of these 100 recipes, it's also easier for me to produce the next ebook. So if I instead try to sell you 7 recipes for starving CEOs approved by Dave McClure. Next slide. So Dave McClure is the head of 500 startups. He is a very well-known guy in the startup industry. It's all around the world doing conferences, etc. Okay, now this is something that is appealing. If I'm the CEO of a startup and I'm starving because I'm always busy, I always have webinar, emails, meetings, whatever to do, if I see this ebook, this is something that will be immediately appealing for me. It's not too much stuff, it's just 7 recipes. They are done exactly for me because they are done for CEOs and they are using Dave McClure's for social proof, and I know the guy is awesome. So this is something that I will download. And there were other very well-known websites doing similar experiments recently. They were doing a generic, hey, how to grow your plant, how to grow vegetables in your balcony, and no one downloaded the ebook. But when they went more specific with the title, how to feed 4 people in just 4 square feet in your balcony, that was perfect. They were addressing specifically a family of 4 with a specific space, and everyone started downloading that ebook. So be specific and address a specific niche.
So yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, after you've addressed the niche and you've you've found your audience and you've got a great lead magnet, tell your users what to do. Tell the person what you want them to do. I can't even count how many times I've had like a poor user experience because I did submitted my email or was trying to follow up with somebody and I didn't know what I was supposed to do after I gave my email or follow up with somebody. I'm like, okay, now what do you want me to do? Am I supposed to go to your site and do something? Am I supposed to wait for an email? Like, what is the next thing? Otherwise, I'm just sort of sitting there, thinking about, well, I'm not really sure what I just gave my email for. And so the key is to make sure you use a call to action. Make sure that not only do you have a great lead magnet that people are going to click on and they want, but tell them what to do if there's a next step. And that can be, you can see some examples here, but here's download templates or a free live workshop, sign up. Make sure that you explicitly tell the person what their next step is and what you want them to do. The last thing you want is for somebody to not follow through on your lead ad or not complete an action that you really want them to, only for the reason is they didn't know what they were actually supposed to do. And they really did want to download something or to sign up for something or to follow through. So just make sure that it's very explicit. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be super simple, very straightforward, but make sure it's in there. The other thing that we can talk about here is also targeting warm audiences, users who've interacted with your brand. So going and knocking on the door and giving a lead ad, you can think of that like somebody coming to your house who you don't know. You get those door-to-door salespeople or something, right? They're knocking on my door. I'm looking out the eye hole. I don't know who they are. Why are they here? What are they trying to sell me? You can kind of think of a lead ad to a cold audience like that. You're skeptical. You don't know, like, should I click on this? Should I give them my email? I don't know who this is or what this is about, and things of that nature. So the key is to target warm audiences. And these are people who sort of know who you are, who will be more receptive to your messaging. For instance, a lot of times I'll see an ad on Facebook, go to the site, look around, figure out what I'm seeing, and learn about whatever the company from the ad, and I'm like, oh, that lead ad's really interesting, but I don't know who this is. Let me go look. And then I become a warm audience because I've been to their site. And so one of the things is to look at people who've been to your site, who've engaged with your site, and it can be just visitors in general. It can be visitors who visited certain web pages. Maybe you have certain pages where if people have made it to that page and they've viewed the content and they've spent a high time on site and things of that nature, maybe that page really tells you that somebody's engaged and is interested, then you can remarket to them, or you can reach out to them with your lead ad, remarket to them, because you know that they're already interested, that they've already spent time. And so finding that warm audience and showing them lead ads can be a really, really important part of the strategy. And it can be a way that lead ads, conversion rates and things of that nature can increase.
This is one of the most important points, guys. Here at Espresso, we only do lead ads to warm audiences. Because first, we don't want to ask a total stranger to give us their email. So first, we would advertise to them promoting a blog post, something very easy. We are not asking anything out of them, just telling them, hey, here's a nice content. And then after they discover our brand, after they visit the blog, we are going to retarget them with a lead ad to get their email. And I can guarantee you the results are amazing. I'm managing to get email from potential customers for less than 50 cents here in the United States, which is a pretty rare number. In terms of technically how to create the audience, what I do is this. I just create two custom audiences. I include one and I exclude the other. So the first one is a website custom audience. I'm going to use Facebook Pixel. I'm going to include it in every part of my website. And then I'm going to create a website custom audience with anyone who visited my website in the last 30 days, for example. Usually, the closer you are, the closer you offer something to their last visit to the website, the more they will remember about you and the more likely they are to remember. Website custom audiences allows you to go back up to 180 days, but in my experience, it doesn't work that well. So 30 days is the sweet spot, in my opinion. And then we are going to target all these visitors of our website, but we are also going to exclude someone from our targeting. And we are going to exclude all our existing customers and all the people who already converted to our lead magnet, whatever it was on a lead ad or on our landing page. The goal here is to build our list, to increase the sites, to get more email and more people to know us and to receive our emails. We don't want to spend money giving away our ebooks, etc., to people who are already customers, who we already have their email. So there's no value for us in getting their email. And if you grow bigger, you can also start segmenting these things. For example, what we do now at Espresso is not generically targeting everyone who visited any page of Espresso, but we create segments. So we will create a website custom audience with everyone who visited or read a blog post about Instagram advertising in the last 30 days. And we are going to show them a lead ad specifically promoting an ebook about Instagram ads. The more you are specific, the more you address the niche, the better it is. So if they were checking out articles about Instagram advertising, why should I promote them a generic ebook on Facebook marketing? They clearly told me our pain point probably is optimizing Instagram advertising. So the more I offer them a lead ad that is specific to their needs, the better it is. Of course, it depends on the size of your website. If you are doing 1,000, 10,000 visits per month, it doesn't make sense to start segmenting yet. When you are above 100,000, etc., it makes a lot of sense. Now, really happy to share with you some unique number. I've not shared these numbers with anyone yet, They're coming out of an analysis on more than $2 million in lead ads that went through an espresso platform in the last couple of months. And these are United States only numbers. So check this out, warm audience. The average conversion rate of lead ads targeting warm audiences is 37.9%. So it's basically 38%, which is a pretty good conversion rate. Remember, this is an average on many different advertisers. I consider myself pretty good at Facebook advertising, and I usually get a conversion rate of at least between 50 and 60%, and a cost per lead below $1. But still, it's an average. So 38% conversion rate, $1.43 cost per lead. When you target a cold audience, so total strangers, people that never heard of you, your conversion rate drops by 14%. It goes from 37.9 to 23.41%, which is a pretty crappy conversion rate, and the cost per lead basically doubles. It goes from 1.4 to $2.8 per lead. So, and remember, these are averages on a lot of ads from very different advertisers. I can guarantee you most of the cases the difference will be even bigger than the one that you see here. All right.
So I have a quick question for you, Massimo. You've shown the really interesting stat there with your 50 cents. What is the sort of average fields that you put in one of your lead form ads? Is it just asking for an email? Do you ask anything else?
Usually we ask for the email and we ask for the name. So right now we are only asking for information, but we know Facebook will pre-fill. We are doing some experiment with longer form, but as we are going to see now in our first strategy, it doesn't pay out often.
Gotcha. Cool. So it sort of leads into this less is more. You have to think that you're actually asking somebody to fill out a form that they have to take the time to fill it out. So Massimo's talking about the pre-fill, right? That speeds it up, that it can populate that email and name right away because Facebook has that information. So literally you hit the submit, or you hit the to see the lead, and then your information's already there. So there's so little friction to actually click or just submitting your lead. And you need to think about that as you create your forms, as you add a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth on up. Different form or different fields for people to fill out, and particularly stuff that can't be pre-filled, stuff that they have to fill out. You really always have to think about what it is you actually need versus what you want versus what would be kind of cool to know, because that kind of stuff can hurt your conversion rate and the lead forms that you're getting. And so one thing to always think about is that besides the length of your lead ads and the amount of fields you're asking, and really thinking about what it is you need to know, is also that what people get, the personal data they're willing to give to you is going to be related to what they think they're getting back. And so if they don't think that your lead magnet is really that valuable, or maybe, yeah, I kind of want it, maybe, but man, this form is like 10 fields. That's a lot of like effort and time. None of it's pre-filling. I got to fill this all out. Like it's just not worth it. And so you really have to think about what the effort is on the user who has to fill out the lead form versus what you're giving them, and whether that balances out. And a lot of that can be done through testing. Test different types of lead forms, test different types of test different lengths. So maybe you just do 2 fields that are pre-filled, like Massimo's been discussing. Maybe you do 3 or 4 or 5, but you can test all these different ads and see which ones get you the most conversions and where that balance is between what you actually need from the person filling it out and the point at which people just stop filling it out. And so that can be really, really important to find that balance. And testing is really great for that. But always keep that in the back of your mind. If you need a rule of thumb, less is more. Or if you make sure you have the least amount of fields on your form that will get you what you need.
Absolutely. I think in every form, whenever you have less fields, is always going to convert better than more fields. Then, of course, it always also depends on your business. So if you have a sales team and you need to qualify leads, maybe you need to ask some additional information. But if that's the case for you, try to increase the perceived value of your offer. And I highlight perceived. It's not about the real value of what you're offering, but it's how the user perceives your offer. For example, it may take me 3 days to write an ebook, maybe a 30-page ebook. And I know that that 30-page ebook is going to be perceived as pretty high value from our users. But on the other side, creating content for our newsletter is taking me 1 day of a week since last like 2 years. So it has a much bigger effort for me. That's a bigger value from my point of view. But let's be honest, no one wakes up in the morning and thinks, today I'm not receiving enough email in my inbox as I would like. I really want to subscribe to another newsletter that is going to send me more emails. So newsletter are, if you are trying to get them subscribed to a newsletter, which I never recommend, I will just go for the email, really, because the newsletter is totally not appealing. On the other side, the ebook that we were talking about has higher perceived value. And in the next slide, you can see that usually we ask from 5 to 7 different informations to our users. And usually we also, on desktop, we can also, if you're running a lot of ads, you can also do progressive compiling of the information. So maybe for your first lead ads, you would ask 3 information. And then in the next one, you may ask 2 different if you want a lot of data about your users. But ebook, definitely much more value. And a very successful survival website is extremely famous because they had physical lead magnet. And actually, this lead magnet that we will see in the next slide is the #1 sequestered object by TSA in American airport. Anything that is physical has a crazy high value because people don't realize that probably this thing is costing them 50 cents in China. And think about it, if something can increase your conversion rate by 3 times, for example, it's totally worth to spend those additional 50 cents because it will reduce your cost per conversion in the advertising. There's also more. A physical product or some kind of very specific product justify asking more personal information. So if you really want to know the address of a user with a physical lead magnet, that's perfect because the user won't find it creepy that you are asking your home address because, of course, you need to ship this lead magnet. Or if you want the phone number, then you could offer a free consultation over the phone. Hey, do you want to learn more about Facebook advertising? Leave us our phone number and Massimo will call you back in 10 minutes and give you a 5 minutes free consultation. If I really care about getting the phone number, I should also think, what lead magnet can I offer that has a high perceived value and that justify asking that very personal information like the phone number. If I'm just delivering them a newsletter, it will be pretty creepy to ask them for a phone number and it will decrease my conversion rate. So again, happy to share some very unique numbers that we extracted from our database just 2 days ago. In this graph, you can see how the cost per lead and the conversion rate are influenced by the number of fields asked in the form. So we can see here in terms of cost per lead, if you only have 1 field that you are asking your users, the average cost per lead is around $1. If you are asking up to 7 fields, the cost per lead goes up to 3 point something dollars for each lead. So really think very carefully about how much more information are valuable for you. And the same happened to the conversion rate. We have an average of around 40. Let me get the right number. I have it open here. Okay, so the average conversion rate with just 1 field is 42.54%. And if you ask 7 fields, the conversion rate goes down to 10%, 10.5%. Just think about it. You are losing 4 times more users by asking too many information. So up to 2, I think it's totally fine. As you can see in the graph, there's no difference in the conversion rate, little difference in the cost per lead, but email or phone number and name are totally fine. After 2 fields, the more information you ask, the more it's going to cost you and the more users you are going to lose along the funnel.
So we've seen a bunch of information on the lead ad itself, how it is, what it looks like, everything from targeting warm audiences to looking at the amount of fields we should use. But then there's this thing of, okay, so you have a great lead ad and people are submitting their forms. Now what? Well, the last thing is you actually need to do something with that. You need to follow up. So the fourth tip is to follow up immediately. Don't wait months um, to follow up. If people are going to forget who you are, they're going to forget why that they even submitted the ad, more than likely, or submitted the lead form. They're also going to forget why, what it was they were trying to get and things of that nature. So make sure that when somebody submits that form and they're entrusting you with that email and that information, follow up with them. Don't wait months. Don't forget. Don't have it sit in your CRM software or in an Excel spreadsheet in a folder that you forget to look at. Make sure that you're respecting and responding to the person and saying, hey, okay, hey, I see you submitted this lead form, and we'd love to share some information with you, and follow up with an email. Whether that's the lead magnet right away to give them that immediate value, whether that's a newsletter, etc. Just make sure that it's following up within a pretty short time period, so they can attach the fact that this email is coming from this lead ad that they submitted very, very recently. So what's one of the yeah? So I kind of covered this slide, but basically it's that they just don't know who you are. The worst thing you can do is have somebody be so interested in you they submit a lead ad, and then they don't know who you are because you never came back to them. And then by the time you come back to them, they don't know who you are, and you end up potentially in the spam folder or in the trash, or they're like, oh, this must be just some junk mail that was sent to me. Or they're like, oh, I must have subscribed for this and I totally forgot that I did and I don't need it anymore, and so I'm going to unsubscribe. And then you see your unsubscribe rates climb and things of that nature. So that immediacy of the response is just as important as the fact that your lead magnet needs to be instant gratification. You really need to make sure that you follow up with them right away and keep them interested. Get them what they want, get them what they signed up for, so they can be reading, they can be testing it, they can be using it, they can have that free trial, and then they're in your product, they're looking around, they're getting excited, and then maybe they're more interested in buying something else or signing up for something else or moving forward in the process with other things that you do. And that's really what you're looking for. So it's a shame to have that sort of disappear just because it took a little long for you to get back to them.
Yeah, this is really the worst scene of lead ads, and partially it's Facebook fault because they made it so complex to follow up with these users because they are just providing you a CSV. And I know what a huge pain it is to have to every time download a CSV, upload it in your MailChimp, whatever you are using, and then it's just too complicated. But we will see now that there are solutions. Because really, trust me, this is what I did the first time, exactly what Chad just described. Oh yeah, let's do lead generation. Let's build this CSV of 1,000 emails. And then I let it sit there for months probably. And then, yeah, okay, let's send an email to all these users and let's tell them to buy an espresso. And it was like 3 months after when we sent the email, we had a unsubscribe and a flag spam rate, which was 7 times higher than our usual emails. It was the worst thing that I could do. We literally wasted all those money. So this is something that I'm not going to do anymore, and you should not either. So first thing, follow up immediately. You can insert a link at the end of your lead ad. People won't click on it. I have seen the percentages below than 20% of the people will click on the link at the end of the lead ad. So don't take for granted that people are going to get the lead magnet because they click on the last link. They won't. So set up something to follow up immediately and tell them, hey, thank you for downloading this ebook. You are amazing. Set expectation. You are not just gathering this email to send them an ebook. You want to convert into customers. So you are probably going to subscribe them to your newsletter and send them additional email. That's totally fine, but let them know. Don't look like the spammy guy. Tell them, hey, thank you, here's your ebook. And by the way, we have an amazing newsletter about your industry. We think it's super useful. And Don't worry, it's low volumes. We are going to send you one mail per week, one mail per month, and you can subscribe at any time. We really hope you appreciate this, blah, 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 blah. Let us know if you have any question. And finally, have a clear idea of what's going to happen next. So when I offer someone an ebook, I exactly know what are my next steps. So I've started building that relationship. And maybe we can go on the next slides, Chad, whenever you want. It's just some examples of what we are doing. So this is an example on email that we send. So after they download the first ebook, maybe in a couple of days, I will try to position ourselves even more as thought leader in the Facebook advertising industry. So I will send them our mail. Hey, how's the ebook so far? Are you enjoying it? If you have any feedback, let me know. And by the way, we also have this great resource like Facebook Ads Gallery on our website. Enjoy it and let me know how I could improve it, and so on. And in the next step, you can also see, yeah, here's our workflow. We do this with HubSpot. There are tons of software that you can use. So every 3 days, we send them a different email to elevate them to the next step in the funnel. So after like 2 weeks, they are going to receive an email that says, hey, did you enjoy all the freebies that we sent your way? I really hope so. Now, guess what? All the things that you have learned, all the problem that I explained you how to solve, you can do it easier and in a faster way if you use our software. Now it's the 5th email that I send you. We are basically friends. So I'm pretty sure that you are going to try. And the conversion rate is just amazing. Not only the overall cost per conversion of this approach is much lower than directly tell people, hey, I am a total stranger, buy my software. But we also get better customers. We get customers with an higher lifetime value because by the time I ask them to try our product, they already know what they are getting from it. They already know how to use it because they received all this mail where I explain them every step of how to use our software, etc. So how to do this? You cannot do it with Facebook. I'm sorry, guys. If there was something free to solve this problem, I would have been very happy to tell you. As I'm adding here a lot of our competitors, I'm not here to spam you, but there's nothing free right now. However, it will really save you a lot of time and make lead ads much more worth it. So with these tools that you see here, Adespresso is, of course, my product is a full ads manager, so you can do everything, optimization, save time, etc. And we also do the synchronization of lead ads. All the other free product only do synchronization. Basically, with this software, you can create sync. So you can tell Adespresso, Connect Leads, Drift Rock, Lead Bridge, hey, check out this advertising campaign. Every time someone converts, every time someone leaves their email, their name in this form, then I want you to write it to MailChimp, whatever, GoToWebinar, Infusionsoft, HubSpot, Active Campaigns, GetResponse. Most of these solutions cover at least 5, 10 different CRM and email marketing. And then you can configure your email marketing tool to immediately start the sequence of email that we just discussed. Huge time saver. I would not do lead ads without one of the solutions that is going to make your life much easier. And by the way, at least 2 of them, Adespresso for sure, Connect Leads also, I'm not sure about the last 2, also enable you to do the other way around. So to get your email list from your favorite CRM and build Facebook custom audiences out of that, which is another very nice value to improve your Facebook advertising. All right, we cover our 4th strategy, but we have a bonus one.
We do have a bonus one. So for the bonus is just a little bit of lead ads retargeting. So learn how to retarget users based on how they interact with the ads. So this is something that is really useful to sort of, I guess, maybe supercharge your lead ad efforts. But one is just using custom audiences to reach out to people who've engaged with your lead ad. And so one is people who've actually filled out the lead ad. You can put them into a special audience and maybe target them with special messaging on Facebook with a particular ad and things of that nature. But even more interesting is the undecided users. And so some users won't complete your lead ad form. No matter how amazing your lead magnet is and how short your form is, there's going to be people who aren't going to fill it out. But they may start it and then decide that they didn't want to fill it out. And one of the more recent additions to Facebook is the ability to target people who didn't finish your form, who made it to a certain point, etc. And this can be a really interesting strategy to try to reach back out to people who seemed like they were on the fence. They were interested, they started, and then they decided against it. And so maybe you can reach back out to them via creating a custom audience with a special offer, or maybe just more detail that would make them say, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and send the information. I'm kind of curious what they have to offer. And so those are really interesting sort of strategies, just particularly around the lead ad form itself.
Building them is also extremely simple. So you have to go in the business manager or ads manager. You need to reach the audience page, and there you will find this option, create audience. Click there on custom audiences. You will find a pop-up. In the pop-up, you have different options, the usual custom audience from file, the website custom audience, etc. Next slide. And the last option, which is rolling out right now. So it should already be available to most of Facebook users, but I cannot guarantee 100% that it's already there for everyone. Still, it's coming. The last option is engagement on Facebook, which lets you create custom audiences from engagement on Facebook. And when you click there, we will see that the next option is, okay, which kind of engagement you want to use for creating this custom audience. And we can see that we have two options, video and lead ad. I'm not going to talk about video, but you should look into it if you're doing with advertising. We want to click on lead ad. And the final option is like every other custom audience pop-up that you have seen. You have to pick a name for your custom audience. You have to pick the length, the backlog, so for within which time range the user should have completed the options that you are selecting. You need to pick the form. So which lead form you want to use for creating this custom audience. And finally, we have two options. We can go ahead by choose slides. Yeah, this is the form, and in the next slide, we can see the options. So we can create the custom audience. All right, we can see here, but we have three options. Anyone who opened this form. So basically, everyone who clicked, no matter if they converted or if they did convert. Or we can create a custom audience with people who opened but didn't submit the form. These are the guys where you want to show a follow-up ad, sending them to a landing page. And finally, people who opened and submitted the form. This is useful to either elevate them to the next level, so hey, you got the ebook, now why don't you buy my product? Or for exclusion, you can create this custom audience, and for all your next upcoming campaigns, when you create a new campaign, you are going to exclude this custom audience of people who already submitted their data, because we already have them, and again, we don't want to spend more money to get their email the second time around. All right.
All right, so we've reached the end of the official slides here. So before we get into a Q&A, we just want to sort of extend a couple offers to the audience that's listening. So if first, Massimo, if you want to talk about what you're offering from AdSpresso.
We are offering a 30% discount for your first 3 months. And we also have 14-day free trial. So no matter what we offer, you can go on our website. You can try the software for 14 days. If you don't like it, it doesn't matter. You don't have to pay anything up front. If you like it, we have this amazing offer where you will save 30% for the first 3 months.
Gotcha. And from Hannipin, using sort of read-only access, we can go into your account and analyze your performance. It takes 2 to 3 business days for us to get a sort of second set of eyes on your account. And then and we can just look at your account, really look at sort of industry standards and see how you're performing and offer some feedback. And this is for accounts that are spending $15K or more a month. All right, that concludes that, and we'll be moving into a Q&A now. So we'll try to answer as many questions as we can in the last 10 minutes here that have been submitted throughout the presentation. So this might be a question that's good for you, Massimo. So Mike asked, can you tell me more about integrating into a CRM? Do you have experience or with how you handle that?
Sure. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You have to use one of the four tools that I listed there. There are other tools. What I really like to stress out, a lot of these tools are from companies that are not partner of Facebook, pretty shady affiliate marketing. When you are doing this synchronization stuff, you are giving someone permission to access your Facebook advertising and your email marketing tool. So please use someone that is reliable, that is at least a Facebook marketing partner. And next, the flow is extremely simple. It's usually a three-step flow. First, you have to select which campaign or which lead generation form you want to synchronize. The next step, you are going to pick which CRM you are using. Unless you are using something extremely specific, maybe just for your country or very local businesses, you are going to find one tool that supports the CRM or email marketing that you are using. You will have to connect through the usual authentication with that system and give permission to the tool synchronizing. And then you will choose in which email list you want the users to end. So you just go on MailChimp, you create a list like lead ads, Facebook custom audiences, ebook. You create the list, you tell the tool, hey, everyone that goes in here that click on this lead form, they should end up in this email list. The synchronization tool, usually between every hour and every 5 minutes, it depends on the tool, will write the email of anyone who click on the ad in MailChimp. And then you can configure MailChimp, for example, with autoresponder, so that when someone joins the list, they receive a welcome email. That really depends on the kind of software that you are using. Like HubSpot, Infusionsoft lets you create very complex flows. MailChimp is a bit more limited, but also much cheaper.
Absolutely. So we had a couple other questions just around some of the terminology we used. When we were talking about lead magnets, we're specifically just talking about what you're offering somebody who's going to fill out a form. An ebook, we saw examples of that in the presentation. It could be, exclusive access to something, like they can sign up for a webinar per se, or something else. But you're offering something in return for their information, and then that's really what the lead magnet is.
This webinar is a lead magnet, guys.
And also just a basic question on conversion rate with lead forms. Yep, and that's when your lead form is submitted. So when somebody completes the action that you want, which is submitting it and you're getting their information, that is what a conversion. That's how we would measure the conversion rate for a lead ad. So I have another question, and this might be one for either of us, Massimo, so feel free to chime in. We have a question that says, if Facebook leads are pre-filled, why talk about the number of fields on the form?
They're not all pre-filled. So there is a set of information that you can ask, and that it's pretty standard, but you can also ask open questions. And it also depends on if the user filled out this information or not, because you can tell Facebook, hey, in this form, I would like the birthday of the user. Half of the users on Facebook, mainly the women, usually don't have their birthday. So that's an information that you might not be able to get, and thus the user will have to type in that kind of information.
Yeah, and you may very well need information that's not pre-filled, right? And so you'll have to include that form on there, or that field on there. And so it's important to kind of know at what point does adding fields create a diminishing return, where you're not seeing the conversion rates you want, where people are saying, this is the point at which I don't want to fill out a form anymore. And so that's why it's important to know that there's only so many sort of pre-filled forms.
And on top of that, sorry, Chad, on top of that, there is always the creepy factor. So if I'm giving you an ebook on Facebook advertising and I'm asking you, are you married? Where do you live? How much do you earn per year? Probably even if the information are pre-filled, the user is not going to feel very comfortable in sharing so many personal information with me, no matter if they are pre-filled or not.
Absolutely. Had a question, we sort of touched on this, but what are your feelings surrounding business to business versus business to consumer using lead ads? Where do you think the best result, or what have you seen?
So it's yet very early days of lead generation ads. I think it kind of works for both B2B and B2C. What I see is that, as I said before, very often you tend to gather more personal information rather than more personal email rather than business email, which might be a pro or a con, because if it's the real personal email, you may actually also get more attention if you manage to reach their personal inbox. One big difference that I saw at the beginning of lead ads, now is getting better, is that people were not used to them. There are not so many people advertising on lead ads, which is always a big opportunity because there is a lot of inventory on Facebook and you are going to pay less. But they were not used to this kind of ad unit and they were confused. So if I was advertising to tech people, to people a bit more sophisticated, or even better, to people in marketing that exactly knew what lead ads were, I had a very good conversion rate because people were not scared of what was happening. If I was targeting very consumer audiences, people, not technology people or marketing people, the conversion rate will drop a lot. And I'm not sure, but I've always explained this with the fact that they were scared about what was happening. They were not used to it and they were confused. But maybe Chad has more to add on this.
Gotcha. Yeah. So just from experience as well,
Or maybe my
I fill out
internet
lead
connection
ads.
is dead.
Gotcha. So feeding, doing lead ads and things like that from, as working for Hannafin, I fill out lead ads for interesting tools and analysis tools and things like that. And I'm much more likely to give more information from a business perspective because I know why they need it, I know what they're looking for, and that can be really,
Sorry,
really useful.
I was just saying thank you, AT&T. My internet connection just went down for a minute. I don't know if you heard the answer or not. I hope so.
Yeah, we absolutely heard the answer.
Okay,
So that was good. Yep, and we can hear you now. Thank you.
awesome.
All right. I'll do one last question here. We're getting really close to the time. This is a great question because I don't actually have a great answer for it. So I'll be curious to see if you do, or if we can sort of think about it. But that's if you can set a limit on your lead ads. So if you were giving away consultations, for instance, could you cap it at a certain amount? I actually am not positive on that. That's something I haven't had to address. Do you have
No,
any feedback on this?
you cannot. You, of course, can play with a budget. So what I would suggest you is to start with a very low budget, like $2, $3, $4 per day, and see what's your average cost per conversion, and from there you can more or less understand what's a good budget for the amount of free consultation that you can do. Otherwise, there are many advanced Facebook Ads Manager. I won't name one, that offer you optimization rules. So with those tools, you could create rules on top of your Facebook advertising, like if number of conversion is greater than 10, then stop the campaign for a couple of days. But that's more advanced. I think if you play a bit with the budget, you can more or less be pretty confident that you are not going to get 5,000 leads in half an hour.
Well, all right. Thank you for that answer. It definitely taught me something because I was a little unsure. I wasn't sure if that was added or not, but the budgeting way is definitely a great way to go about that. We've reached the time that we have to say goodbye. So we want to thank everybody for attending the webinar. Folks here at Hannafin and folks at Espresso really appreciate it. You can see emails here if you want to reach out to either of us. For any feedback about the webinar or any questions you might have, please feel free to reach out. We'd love to get in contact with you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys, everyone. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.